There was something wrong. Everyone felt it, even if nobody dared to say it out loud. Tyreek Hill was there every week, suiting up, sprinting, scoring when he could. But there was something deeper, behind the face paint, behind the celebrations, behind the stats. Something he wasn't letting show. And now, piece by piece, we're finally starting to see it. A photo. That's what did it. A photo from a hospital bed. Left wrist wrapped. Caption: Surgery number 2. Simple. No drama. No big reveal. But that image, that quiet moment, screamed what the past year had been trying to hide. Hill just had another operation. Screws removed from his wrist. That was the plan, apparently. A second surgery that had always been part of the road back. But let's not act like this was normal. Nothing about playing an entire season with the surgically repaired wrist is normal. Nothing about choosing pain, week after week, is standard procedure. He did it anyway. And now it's out there. The wrist that looked off in August never really healed. It was never meant to survive the full stretch of a season. But Hill wasn't interested in excuses. He didn't sit. He didn't wait. He stepped on the field every week and took what the game gave him. Whether he could grip the ball right or not. Whether the jolt in his arm stayed for days or not. Whether it cost him something or not. Because it did. It cost him a better stat line. It cost him the rhythm we're used to seeing. 81 receptions. 959 yards. 6 touchdowns. Not awful. But for Tyreek Hill, that's not the standard. That's not what people expected. That's not what defenses feared. And yet, he still delivered more than most receivers in this league ever do. Even at 75%, even fighting against his own body, he showed up and made defenses uncomfortable. That says something no stat sheet can. That speaks louder than any fantasy ranking. Go back to the timeline. The injury started in a joint practice with Washington in August. He could have shut it down right there. He was told surgery was on the table. And not just any surgery, ligament repair. Screws inserted. Most guys would have folded. Most guys would have looked at their guaranteed millions and said, not worth it. Hill looked at that same pain and kept running, kept cutting, kept jumping for contested catches with a wrist full of metal. It wasn't just about pride. It wasn't about ego. It was about commitment. This wasn't some undrafted free agent trying to prove he belongs. This was a $120 million man with all the accolades already in his pocket. Super Bowl, Pro Bowls, contracts that reset the market, legacy cemented. He had nothing left to prove. And yet, he went out there like he still had everything to prove. Why? Why risk it? Why not sit, recover, come back 100%? That's the part that reveals everything. That's the part that defines who Tyreek Hill really is. Not the speed. Not the deep routes. Not the YouTube highlights. It's the decision to go through hell for the team, the jersey, the locker room. That's the part nobody sees. Coach McDaniel talked about it back in February. Explained that it wasn't a break. Just ligament damage. Just. As if torn ligaments are minor inconveniences. As if the difference between broken and shredded inside means anything when your hand can't function the way it should. They made it sound clean, controlled, like there was a script. But pain doesn't follow scripts. Bodies don't heal on cue. Now the second surgery is done. The screws are out. The brace comes off. And the rehab begins. Again. But this part, this quiet part of recovery, it's different. It's not about highlight reels. It's not about game plans. It's about trust. Trust in his wrist. Trust in the work. Trust that the same hand that betrayed him last year won't do it again when the lights come on. There's a training camp timeline. That's what they say. That he'll be ready by summer. That the plan is on track. But what does on track even mean? When you've been through this much, on track is just something you tell reporters. The real test is when he lines up again, when the first ball spirals his way, when instincts take over and the past starts screaming in his mind. That's the recovery that matters. And still, even now, the Dolphins are betting on him. Still believe in him. Still build around him. There's no hesitation in the building. They know what he brings. Not just the threat, not just the explosion, but the identity. He's part of the culture now. Not just a name. Not just a contract. Let's talk about that contract. Because people love to forget. Hill didn't come to Miami for a quick cash grab. He signed for 4 years, $120 million, with $72.2 million guaranteed. That's a franchise commitment. That's a flag planted. And just last year, he agreed to restructure it. 3 years, $90 million, with $65 million guaranteed. Why do that? Unless you believe something bigger is still coming.